Yes, I know, I just crapped out a video about a really boring game with barely any editing in it. Some of the edits are missing, and I even forgot one of my favorite graphics, and I'm putting another one out about a movie? Well, I figure since I'm one of the few people I know that actually saw Avengers Infinity War, I'd like to get my thoughts out there so that at least those folks know what I think about it. Sorry guys, it's low effort trash time. So right off the bat, I'm just gonna say my opinion of the movie is positive. I think it's a great culmination of everything that started in 2008 with Iron Man and a great execution of the Marvel event in this format. Because really, that's what this movie is. A giant narrative stripping multi-book crossover in moving picture form. It's not really a typical film, and it doesn't pretend to be, and it forgoes the typical 3-act structure basically because it has to. I mean, there are more main characters to handle, so it's similar to other movies featuring ensemble casts, and there is so much stuff going on for each group that they're all broken into, until they mostly converge into two anyway, that it's a surprise the writing is as well done as it is, honestly. I mean, it's not perfect. A couple of the jokes don't land, though most of them did with the audience I was in, and at least one romance kinda came out of nowhere, seemingly wrecking the pacing for it established in that couple's own films. Then again, my girlfriend noticed that the director for those films is an executive producer on this one, so I guess it was part of the plan. Really sucks though that the hope spot from at least one other movie recently released was dashed by basically this entire movie. That's what Marvel events do though, and I've never really liked that. They compromise or cut off ongoing narratives in service of something designed to shake up the universe and really only make more money. I feel like that's kind of the goal. I mean, look at the box office for this right now, and why am I even making this video? But for the MCU, and really movies in general, this is kind of a new thing. Back on topic though, the narrative was at least easy to follow, especially if you consider this to be the story of Thanos and not those trying to stop him, because it is. He is the main character of the story. Most of the major developments come from him, and everyone else just reacts to his machinations. You get his basic backstory, one big extended flashback introducing his relationship to
my favorite daughter, Gamora.
And you're told his reasoning for doing what he does on the scale that he does it. Oh, and it's thankfully not, I want to do the horizontal monkey dance with death here, so, bullet dodge there. It's still utterly ridiculous, as his goal is basically be the antithesis to something considered to be a major problem on our own planet, even though it isn't. And the only way to really fix it is to use a reality warping power glove to do it. Gotta make the sacrifices, I guess. Having seen the movie only once, it's kinda difficult to analyze it on a thematic level, but I think sacrifice is the perfect place to start. Looking at the actions of specific characters like Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, even Thanos himself, and that's diving into spoiler territory. But everything is on the line here, and when things get that tough, you have to give up something. Maybe more when the Blu-ray comes out. There's a lot to talk about how the movie tries to make you sympathize with the villain protagonist as we learn about his motivations, but I call BS, because under no circumstances does this movie frame Thanos' actions as anything other than a bad thing. He's bad. He's bad. His whole freaking genocidal team of fuglies are just bad. If anything, this movie does a perfect job of developing the one character that needed it since, you know, he didn't really get that in Guardians of the Galaxy. I think the word we're looking for here is empathize. I empathize, but I don't sympathize. Fuck Thanos. The performances were great, with nary a flanderization in sight, despite some of the characters being relegated to that of extended cameos. It's obvious that the stakes are high for everyone involved, at least in universe, and their motivations are clearly defined. I think I was the most pleased with how War Machine handled everything upon meeting up with the Secret Avengers. That's what I'm gonna call them. And I feel like the best performance overall was Josh Brolin as the Amazing Bulk. He brought an all CGI character to life and actually made it look pretty convincing for the most part, excluding some extreme close-up shots where there didn't seem to be enough muscular movement in Thanos' face, and the rest of the CG is up there at that level. I mean, it had better be. This movie cost Marvel $300 million, not including the marketing budget, and I'd say a good chunk of it went directly into the visual effects because they are very, very good. This movie is heavy. Things happen in it that, if you hadn't read any of the source material, you'd never expect a company like Marvel to pull. But then again, that's probably what they banked on. You were expected to think this movie had no stakes, and with a snap of their fingers, they basically let you know that this film is different, and they ain't playing with you. Do I think this should happen all the time? Do I think it's revolutionary? Well, no, but I think it'll be very difficult to see anything coming after this in their lineup without wondering how it stands up to this movie. But don't think about that for now. If you're even at least half interested in the storyline of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I would encourage you to check this movie out. If you don't like Marvel films or are experiencing superhero fatigue, maybe not, especially if it's the latter, because this thing will kill you. All I know is that for me, it delivered, and I'm very interested in how things are going to turn out from here. Until then, there are actually a couple of other movies I need to catch up on, including Black Panther. Yes, I know I'm terrible.